Okay, we are going to get started, everyone. So good afternoon and welcome to Discover Manufacturing Week. My name is Carol Distel. We have a fun group here. We're all in our hats this afternoon. So before we get started, I want to introduce Jerry Hill. He's also going to be co-hosting with me and helping with questions and answers. And off screen, we have Ann, who's going to be working all of our back screens and videos and presentations. So before we start, we have 3 manufacturers here today that we are going to be working with and talking to and learning all about what they do in their field. Before we do that, I want to make note that there's a question and answer box at the bottom or on your toolbar. And please submit all of your questions there. We're going to be having our panelists speak first, and then following that, we will be doing questions and answers. So put all of those questions and answers in that box. We also would want you to know that anybody who asks a question will be put into a pool to earn, we're giving out $25 gift cards throughout the whole process of these webinars. So we want to hear from you. And even if your question does not get answered, you will still be put into the pool. Following the webinar, when it closes, a survey will pop up. So we want you to complete that as well. So with that being said, I would like to start off and introduce Kevin. Kevin is from Perrigo, and he has a couple of his friends here with us. So good afternoon, Kevin.
Good afternoon, Carol. How are you? Hi, everybody in Southwest Michigan.
Hi.
It's weird because we can't hear them.
I know. It really is kind of weird. We can't hear everybody. So,
yeah. So I'd like to introduce myself. I'm Kevin Pockrant. I work at Perrigo over in Allegan, Michigan. And there's been, it's funny, not too long ago, I would have been one of the people hosting as a school because I was a teacher. So for all of you that don't know where your life's going to take you into the future, it's fine, because if you'd asked me 10 years ago, was I going to be working at Perrigo, I wouldn't have even known what Perrigo was 10 years ago. So with that, I would like to kind of give you a little bit of an overview of what Perrigo has to offer from an employment perspective. So we have been open for 130 years. We've got 3,000 different products that we make. In that, we've got 1,400 or 14,000 SKUs. So if you think about it as bottles with different sizes, labels, etc., we've got 14,000 of those that we produce different. And then we've got 11,000 people that work worldwide for us. So some of the locations that we're in are the United States, Mexico, the United Kingdom, Australia, India, and China. So it's we're a very global company, and especially with this situation that's going on with the pandemic and everything else, even though there's times where we feel like we're disconnected, we're always meeting people from various different locations in our facilities and trying to help each other out. So we're a really big family in that side, and it's a great company to work for. So my journey here at Perrigo, so I came here almost 8 years ago, and again, I was a teacher. So I came here, I started as a corporate trainer. And actually, I had met Nick and Jason back then during the corporate training side of it. Eventually, I went over to Holland and I became a third shift supervisor for packaging in one of our smaller facilities over in Holland. We have 2 facilities located in Holland, Michigan. And while I was there, I learned a lot. I mean, it was pretty awesome. I got to deal with people. It was the first time I got to be a supervisor. But again, when I was teaching and coaching, incidentally, supervision's very much like that. So building relationships with people, setting standards, having high expectations, making sure you do the right thing, encourage other people to do the right thing at all times. And eventually I was offered to come back over to Perrigo here in Allegan. And when I came over here, I got the facilities maintenance position. And now you can, to kind of put it into your perspective, it's think of a buildings and grounds maintenance person, right? So I am part of a larger group of people, and I have electricians, I've got heating and air conditioning people, I've got boiler techs, I've got a lot of different people doing a lot of different things. But basically at the end of the day, my group makes sure that Nick's group from operations has a roof over his head, the building's warm, and everything outside that's not supposed to come in the building doesn't come in the building. So it's pretty straightforward in that. I also assist with the apprenticeship program that we have here in Allegan. So we've got 11 different trades. Some of those are, again, electricians, machine repair, purified water, boiler techs, heating and air conditioning, and then automation, to name a few. One of the benefits of going into the maintenance department is you're required to go into a trade. So when you come here, you maybe didn't have that skill set, but you knew that you wanted to go and do something else, right? So Nick will talk about how you may start at Perrigo, but I would say that the positions that I hire and supervise are some of the more sought after positions for people that like to do things. So I work with Jason Adams' group as the engineers, and he'll talk to you about that here in a minute. In our video, you're going to see a lot of different things. And in there, again, we've got quite a few different positions at Perrigo. So just a huge range in skill sets and quality of different ways that you can contribute to the company. So we've got lab techs, we've got quality people that actually go through and check things. I think, Nick, you kind of started in quality, if I remember right. We've got art department. So for those of you that like to draw, all of our packages and all of our labels, at some point in time, somebody's got to design that stuff, and they've got to go through, they've got to test it, make sure that it's going to work. We've got, as you can imagine, with 11,000 people, we've got a huge IT need for that, especially it's increased substantially during this whole pandemic. On the floor, we've got specialists, we've got people that mix stuff. Again, you'll see some of these types of positions when we go through the video. We've got people that drive forklifts. We've got people that drive trucks from building to building to building. So in Allegan, we've got 12 buildings, and over in Holland, we've got another five to seven buildings, depending on which areas you're talking about. So you've got people that have to balance the books for all these areas. So we employ accountants. We've got sales and marketing people because we've got to sell our products. We've got, people that just like to spend money. So we actually have people that are paid to buy things, and that's pretty much all they do. So that's been very hard lately with some of the delays and everything else that we have, but that's me in a nutshell.
Before we go on,
Awesome.
I'm not sure if it's Jason who goes next. Can you tell us exactly what Perrigo makes?
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks, Carol. So again, my name is Jason Adams. I'm the Director of Engineering and Maintenance for our Michigan operations. At a high level, Perrigo is the world's largest store brand drug manufacturer. So we manufacture drugs, headache medicines, cough medicine, cold and flu medicine, and for the store brand. So if you go to Walmart and you buy the Walmart brand, which is called Equate, 90% chance made right here in Michigan in Holland or Allegan. We manufacture the bulk of all of the world's store brand medications. In terms of volume, we're also one of the largest pharmaceutical manufacturers in the world by volume. So on any given year, we produce approximately 50 billion tablets of drugs. And that's a very large amount, right? And that's, again, really coming out of our Michigan plant. So, Carol, did that help a little bit kind of frame what we do?
Absolutely. Thank you. I'll let you go on.
You bet. So one of the things I want to talk about a little bit today, Kevin talked about a lot of our maintenance positions and our support positions. I want to focus a little bit more on our high demand engineering roles, and specifically the engineering roles that we have in our Michigan plant. So as Kevin mentioned, we have multiple Michigan plants. A lot of them are distribution and office areas. We have 6 production and packaging plants in Michigan. So across Allegan and Holland, we have 6 plants. And the first group of engineers that I want to talk about are our production and project engineers. So we have 45 engineers across these 6 plants that are really responsible for a specific work center or a group of machines or a packaging line or a utility to make our drug products. So these 45 engineers have their specific area that they're the technical expert on. They are responsible for their machine. They need to know how their machine works. They need to know how the product runs in their machine. They need to know how that machine needs to be updated or automated or upgraded. And they're really that subject matter expert. our engineers are required to have a 4-year degree. Most of those degrees are engineering degrees. A lot of our engineers are chemical engineers and mechanical engineers, but we also have electrical engineers, we have automation engineers, and we have, other types of engineers, but there is a degree that's required. We do also require that you don't necessarily have to have an engineering degree, but you do have to have a 4-year degree. So we have some science degrees, right? We have some engineers that have bachelor's degrees in science, chemical degrees in science, and biology, those sorts of things. So our production engineers are really responsible for our production equipment. The second group of engineers we have are what we call our process support engineers. They're really responsible for the product we make. So I talked about those 50 billion tablets. Their job is to understand, if we have a headache medicine, for example, ibuprofen, it has multiple different chemicals in it. Their job is to understand all of those chemicals, understand how those chemicals react with each other, understand what happens to those chemicals when we put them in a machine, understand what happens to those chemicals when we mix them, or when we make a tablet, or when we put them in a liquid bottle. They're really responsible for the process and the product. So it's typically a higher level engineer. It's usually someone with more experience that's kind of worked through production engineering, and they partner with that production engineer to understand the process side. The third piece of engineering that we have are what we call our continuous improvement engineers. So the first two, right? First group in production focuses on equipment. The second group in process focuses on the product. The third group is kind of the overseer of all, and there are continuous improvement engineers. So whenever something happens in our plants that goes wrong, a machine stops in the middle of a production run, a product doesn't mix well, some of our chemicals maybe didn't mix well and it didn't turn out, that's the responsibility of the continuous improvement engineer to be, I'll call it the detective of our operation, right? So they're kind of like the FBI. They dive into that process that broke or something happened, and they need to figure out what happened, when it happened, how it happened, who was there when it happened. They review security camera, they review PLC reports, they review data, and they are really there to investigate what happened and put in place a plan to correct it to not repeat, right? So their job is to find that root cause and then determine do we need to upgrade the equipment? Do we need to call Kevin's team in maintenance and do some maintenance activity on it? Do we need to try and replace a part? That's their role. So again, that's kind of, in a nutshell, all of our engineers across Michigan, how we work together to support the operation. One of the cool things that Kevin talked about too is this push to do things the right way at Perrigo, right? And he talked a little bit about that in the roles that he explained. One of the things we try really hard to do at Perrigo is to do the right thing for our people as well, right? Huge focus on people, huge focus on career development. If we have engineers that want to do something different, or say there's an engineer that's been in one plant for a year and they want to look at a different plant, we encourage those folks to go to that other plant. We'll try to make openings in those other plants to get them to see different things and develop their career. We also have a lot of engineers that want to lead people, right? So they want to be in charge of a production line, or they want to be in charge of a group of people. We'll partner with Nick's team in operations to say, hey, Nick, what's a good supervisor opening that we can put one of these engineers into and develop them? So to us in engineering, it's really about doing the right thing for the plants, making sure our process and our equipment are running optimally, and then how do we support our people in their career growth, if that makes sense. So with that, Nick, I'll turn it over to you, and maybe you can walk through the operational side with everybody.
Absolutely. Thank you, gentlemen. Well done. As you folks can see, I work with some pretty smart people. My name's Nicholas Ford. I am the Director of Operations here in our Allegan facilities, so I'm responsible for quite a bit, roughly 1,300 folks. The departments that I oversee are receiving, dispensing, tablet manufacturing, tablet packaging, liquid manufacturing, and liquid packaging. So you can see there's probably never a dull moment. My days go pretty quick. Kind of the biggest thing, the first thing I want to start with is talking about my walk here at Perrigo, because I think it demonstrates the opportunities that are here, and I'll get into that, but I'm going to tell you the whys behind it too. I started at Perrigo as a weekend contract laboratory chemist. My background is in chemistry. Perrigo paid for me to go back to school to get a master's in business. But the biggest thing for me was I started ground floor. I was not even a Perrigo employee. After a couple of months, I was hired in. An opportunity presented itself for kind of a floor lead, so not necessarily someone that would have direct reports, but kind of directed traffic. I was lucky enough to be awarded that position. Did that for a year, and some supervisory opportunities on the off shifts popped up, and someone came and asked me if I was willing to try leading people. Obviously, that's something I'm extremely passionate about. Maybe I didn't know it at the time, but I'm really glad that person reached out to me. I took a second shift liquid supervisor role in the QC laboratory. A few short years later, I was awarded the QA/QC chemist for 2 satellite facilities that we've since divested. That was up in Montague as well as Holland, a separate facility from our current Holland facility. Did that for a few years, and I was awarded the opportunity to come back to the QC lab as the liquids QC lab manager. So I managed a larger group in charge of all of our testing. Did that for a spell, and at that time there was a need for a stability manager at the time down at our Plant 1 facility. I was lucky enough to be awarded that role, and I took over our entire stability program, both QC and QA. So I was the individual that helped establish our expiration dating across all of the 3,000 products that Kevin mentioned earlier in the presentation. Did that for a couple of years, and an individual contacted me and asked me if I'd like to come out and manage one of our operations roles. And in looking back, that was probably the biggest blessing of my life that person thought of me. I took over Plant 5 tablet manufacturing, did that for a couple of years, and then was asked to come back to the QA role as the associate director for the liquid value stream, which is pretty much raw material failures, customer complaints, anything in between. I'm lucky enough to have been a host when the FDA comes in. So when those individuals do come in and have inquiries, I'm one of the folks that we marry up with them and make sure that we get their questions answered. Shortly after that role, I was asked to go take over our flagship packaging plant, which is tablet packaging in Plant 7. That's a very big facility. It's quite amazing to see. You will see some of that in the subsequent video here that will be coming up shortly after I'm done. Did that for 4 years, and then roughly about a year ago, I was lucky enough to be awarded the director of the Allegan operation, which I said was 1,300 folks in those various departments. The reason I kind of say that is not to talk about myself, but to tell you that Perrigo is the land of opportunity. There are some simple things that you need to do to come here, and you will be absolutely successful. You show up on time, you treat people well, and you do your job. Perrigo rewards that activity, and they reward it through additional opportunities, obviously great pay, great benefits, but it's really a testament to doing the right thing. You do the right thing, and Perrigo is going to reward you handsomely for it. In terms of roles and jobs, I see a question that popped up in terms of roles that are open. There are roles and opportunities throughout all of our organization right now. So it's not just engineering in Jay's group. It's not just facilities and maintenance in Kevin's group. We are in the process of a hiring blitz right now where we're looking to hire roughly 150 folks across my organization. And these other areas that were talked about, IT, quality, procurement, all these areas, routinely have openings in the West Michigan area, and it's almost a constant, to be honest with you. So in terms of opportunities, there are many different types of roles that are out there. The biggest thing for me is I'm just thankful. I know folks kind of talk about culture and what's out there. We have a really good group of individuals here. We have a great group of folks that are making our products, and the scope and the size of our operation, to be honest, I think is something to kind of tout, because to be honest, most folks don't know who Perrigo is. And at the end of the day, one of the things that I want to convey is that we're really one of the largest drug manufacturers in the country. We're settled right here in West Michigan. Folks have not heard the name, and this company is the real deal, and I can't tell you how proud I am to be a part of this organization. We have a short video teed up here that was created a couple of months ago by Kevin, and I think it's going to help the group understand exactly kind of the day-to-day operations and the roles. After this video, I think at the tail end we'll have an opportunity for questions, but I think this is probably a good time to tee up that video and let the folks see exactly what Perrigo does.
In the receiving area, located on the north end of Plant 5, is where our process begins for the tablet process. Materials are offloaded, bin located, and recorded in our computer system for tracking purposes. Receiving works with raw materials, bottles, caps, corrugate, and other items used in the process. After materials are received, they are checked for accuracy in our 100% weigh location. This is a high-speed measuring system that verifies larger containers have the amount marked on the outside so that when they are dispensed into smaller quantities, it can be reconciled. Once quantities are requested through batch cards, it is time to dispense materials into proper amounts. Depending on the product being made, liquid or solid materials will be dispensed in a booth, which is recorded for future use in batches. Perrigo stays committed to high-quality products that have various in-process checks performed by our in-house lab technicians. Tablets need to have the proper mixture of ingredients. As mentioned earlier, we talk about making batches. While this process is often compared to making cookies, as you can tell, the equipment here is much larger than what's found in most kitchens. This is called a V-shell, which has the obvious shape of a V and spins to properly mix the materials needed for the batch. When the materials are mixed together, it is time to compress and make tablets. Perrigo prides itself in having the ability to change from one tablet size to another and for multiple types of products. The tablet press you are viewing here is called a Manistee press, which is capable of generating 4,800 tablets per minute, which means it will fill one of these fiber drums in about 120 minutes. With the tablets compressed, it is time to coat the product. This is where we use large machines that dump full drums of uncoated tablets and then spins and coats the tablets with spray nozzles. While it looks like a washing machine, you need to have the right temperature and humidity settings in the room, or this process isn't efficient. Thank you to our in-house maintenance departments that keep our equipment and buildings in tip-top shape. After our sales team has placed orders for our customers, it's time to pull our tablets and package them. On the 419 line, we set the line up to properly count and bottle what is needed for the order. Once the tablets are bottled, they are capped, labeled, and cartoned. This line has the capacity to run bottle count sizes ranging from 40 cc to 80 cc at a rate of 140 to 200 bottles per minute. With the process complete, finished product is loaded onto a truck and is ready to ship to our customers.
So again, that was a really neat little video that we pulled together to try to give folks a feel for what goes on day to day here at Perrigo. We definitely appreciate your time today. Thank you to Jay and Kevin, but we wanted to try to, put our best foot forward and make sure folks understand who Perrigo really is.
Thank you, Nick. That was great. Next, good afternoon. We'd like to introduce Tricia and Shane from Trans-Matic.
Hi, everyone. My name is Tricia Zondervan, and I am the Human Resources Business Partner at Trans-Matic. I've been at Trans-Matic for 12 years. And while my career started in the accounting department doing costing and payroll, I've been in the human resources department for the last 9 years. With a very small team, I handle many different things on a daily basis, including payroll processing for our full-time and our temporary team members. I assist with all the benefits and help employees with training and development. I plan Trans-Matic events. I recruit for our openings and many other things to help Trans-Matic team members from when they are a new employee at Trans-Matic all the way through their retirement from Trans-Matic. I help them and assist them with their needs. Trans-Matic is a deep draw metal stamping company with headquarters located on the south side of Holland. We also have a warehouse location here as well. We've been in business for 52 years and we are family owned. Trans-Matic has a global footprint also with locations in Monterrey, Mexico and Suzhou, China. And this positions us to accomplish our mission of being a leading global supplier of essential precision deep draw metal components and value added solutions. We are a global supplier for lock hardware, automotive, the military, medical, and many other industries around the world. Along with skilled trades, kind of like Perrigo, manufacturing also has many different support functions like engineering, purchasing, accounting, sales, human resources, quality, IT, production planning, and facilities. Whether you like working with your hands, are strong in math, or something else, you should try to find something you enjoy doing and search for a career related to that. If you're passionate about it, it will come through in your work. Everyone learns differently and has different interests, but that's okay, because whether it's at Perrigo or Koops or Trans-Matic, there's something out there for you to do. We're going to watch a short video about Trans-Matic, and then Shane will speak with you further about niche jobs.
The home of the industry, where it all started out, is Waterbury, Connecticut. Back in 1968, we were the Mavericks out in the Midwest. We started to do new and different things, and we conducted our business a little bit different than they did out in Connecticut.
Pat had decided not to focus on the simpler parts. There's a lot of guys out there that can do those. So he said, nope, we want to make the investment in technology. We want to invest in our people, their skill set. We're going to do the more complicated, the more difficult parts. And that's really what's enabled us to thrive over the years.
Participation, equity, competence, and identity. Those principles all work together really to run a company that values retention, values resourcefulness, has a lot of trust between individuals and departments in order to make pretty difficult component parts.
We were the first company in our area, in our industry, that had a full profit-sharing program. We want everybody paid a market competitive wage. In addition to that, they can make a bonus if the company does well, and we all share in that bonus equally.
If you think of our mission to be the leading global supplier of choice for challenging deep-drawn metal components and value-added solutions, over the years we've stuck to that.
You look at the communities of Holland, Michigan, Mesa, Arizona, Suzhou, China, Monterrey, Mexico. Each of those areas promote family values, which is very important to us. Our company depends on the retention of high-skilled labor. We have people who are quite loyal. I think a lot of that loyalty really comes from the opportunity for them to focus on something that they're good at, be challenged and rewarded at the same time.
When I think of our Suzhou, China facility, we're supplying 80% of our product to mainland China, and 20% goes to Thailand. We can supply all of Asia. Our new facility in Monterrey, Mexico, we can supply the interior of Mexico. We can supply all of South America out of that facility. So it's really leveraging our global footprint.
We have a good foundation. We have the technology and the financial resources to compete. We'll be successful as time goes on. I'm confident in that.
All right, so hello, my name is Shane Headley. I work at Trans-Matic as well. Hopefully you enjoyed that little video. We're a deep drawn stamping facility like Tricia talked about. What we're going to talk to you today about is niche jobs. I think Trans-Matic has found its niche in the stamping industry. There are many stampers out there, metal stamping industries or companies out there. We're in the deep drawn stamping portion of that. So with that, what is a niche job? What's the definition of that? It's a job or a position that's very suitable for someone, especially one they like. So that's kind of what our hope is for you guys out there today, is to introduce you to some areas that you might find a niche in. There are many different careers here in West Michigan. You think of Perrigo, you think of Trans-Matic, but maybe neither one of these companies excite you, or maybe that's not your niche. It's our hope that just starting this conversation today, maybe if you don't like what you see here, maybe you talk to family or friends. Maybe you talk to your friends' parents, ask them what they do and why they enjoy what they do. Holidays are coming up. You sit next to that crazy uncle. You got nothing to talk about. Ask him what he does and why he enjoys his job. have a conversation and be intentional about what you want to do for the rest of your life. Like they mentioned, and at Perrigo, there's many good companies out there to work for. If you show up every day with a good attitude, you're going to progress if you enjoy what you're doing. So a little bit about that. I'm gonna kind of walk you through my career progression and the conversations I had that really made a change in my life. The biggest one started when I was a freshman in high school. My high school shop teacher, we were having a conversation, and he said, you know what, there's companies out there that will give you apprenticeship programs. That's where they pay for your schooling. They'll offer you employment, and at the end of 4 years, you'll get a technical degree, a journeyman's card, and that's all 100% paid by the company. So that night, after that conversation with my shop teacher, I went home and I told my mom, as a freshman in high school, I was going to find a company to pay for my schooling. Yeah. Another conversation that really helped me out in my career path was my senior year of high school. I went to the tech center here in Ottawa County. I was talking with my instructor there, and he said there are companies out there that you can do a co-op program for. You can go to school 3 days a week, and then maybe 2 days a week go work for a company, and they'll pay you instead of going to school. You can go to work and make some money. I was all about that, right? Not being in school and making a little bit of money. So I started the co-op program through Trans-Matic my senior year, and that kind of got me on the progression I'm in now. After graduating high school, Trans-Matic hired me on full time, and a year later, I was able to get into the CNC journeyman's apprenticeship program. Soon into that position, I figured out I loved what I was doing, and I was pretty good at it. That maybe I found my niche. That's kind of what we're all looking for, right? Do something you enjoy doing and be good at it. So fast forward 6 years from there, I was in the tool room, and I had another conversation with a tool maker who was working on the production floor, and he asked why I had never worked on the production floor, and I said because no one had ever asked me. Fast forward there, 3 months later, I was working on the production floor. He asked me to go work out there. I was able to go through another apprenticeship program on the production floor, and able to get another journeyman's card out there. And that's kind of where I really found my niche there. It fit me well. I worked my way through the production area. I became a production team leader. I would oversee a group of presses over 3 shifts, and that leadership role kind of became available to me. But there again, it was all because of a conversation that I had. So be very intentional about the conversations you're having right now. Yeah, they'll help you out in the years to come. Currently, I oversee all our technical training at Trans-Matic. We're always looking for help, and we always like to advance the people we find into their niche, whatever that may be. Like Tricia mentioned earlier, manufacturing has a lot of different facets, support functions to that. Of course, Trans-Matic deep drawn stamping is our number one highly skilled positions, but there are also other areas. If for some reason your niche isn't deep drawn stamping, there are many different areas, and we would be more than happy to work with you through them areas. One area that we do have at Trans-Matic, it is a training cell. That's where I spend the majority of my time when I'm not overseeing apprentice activities. The training cell is basically a souped up shop class where I spend all my time with new to the industry employees, and we try and get them up to speed in the deep drawn stamping areas. So they're going to spend up to a year in there. This is removed from production, so it's kind of a safe area. You're able to make mistakes, and you don't have that production stipulations kind of driving you all the time. So that's another area that we can really progress some tool makers and get them into their niche. Another area that we have is a CNC tool room. We have an apprenticeship program in there. Another area for people to progress there. So going back to what is your niche, right? What are you good at? Try and figure out, students, what you might be good at going forward. Maybe it's college. Maybe go to college for 4 years. If that's the case, you know what? Put some work into it. Get good grades. Get some academic scholarships. If college isn't for you, figure out what is your niche. Have conversations like we talked about earlier. Try and figure out what might be good for you. Manufacturing, the companies that are speaking today would be more than happy to give you a job shadow or get on their website, contact them, and we can show you some of the career paths that we have for you. So as far as Trans-Matic goes, like Tricia said in the opening, we've been in business 50 years. We're a family-owned company. It is a great place to work. I've had 27 years employment there. They've been very, very good to us. If you guys have any questions or want to know more in depth about what we do, get on our website, contact us, and we'll try and make that happen for you guys. So thanks for listening.
Shane and Tricia, great job. Thank you so much for sharing about Trans-Matic. We're going to roll the video now for Koops, and then we're going to introduce Eric.
Hi, this is Eric from the leadership at Koops Automation Systems, and I'm excited to talk to you today about the passion our team has for building innovative machines. Come on in. We are a team that values integrity, stewardship, and excellence. This is a short sentence, but there is a lot built into that sentence that defines our everyday culture here at Koops. Koops has 3 campuses with a total of 5 buildings in Holland, Michigan, Greenville, South Carolina, and Irapuato, Mexico. In Holland, Michigan, Koops has approximately 170 employees, with about 1/3 of them in the skilled trades and approximately half as engineers. We are all passionate about our team and what we do. The machines that we build service a variety of industries, from automotive to aerospace, consumer goods, and life sciences. The machines vary in complexity from simple, small machines that are semi-automatic to large, fully automated, complex work cells. Every machine is very different from the next. Koops is 100% employee-owned, which has a huge impact on our culture and our strategic direction. The individuals you're about to see in this tour are all fellow owners at Koops Automation Systems. Mechanical engineers design the complete mechanical system of the machines, oftentimes starting with a blank screen and then ending with a complete set of drawings and a parts list. Mechanical engineers need to have a strong mechanical aptitude and a creative flair. Individual growth is a strong aspect of Koops' culture. The apprenticeship programs that we offer is a huge way we grow the team. The apprenticeship programs that Koops offers is in machine building, electrical, machining, and welding. The apprenticeship program requires a combination of time on the job and time in the classroom. The end result is a journeyman certificate. A fabricator at Koops produces weldments, everything from something you can hold in your hand to weldments so large that flipping it over with a hoist is a challenge. The fabrication team has 4 well-equipped welding stations where they lay a ton of bead every day. A machinist at Koops uses a machine tool to produce precision mechanical components used in the build of our product. These components vary greatly and require the machinist to do many different custom setups every day. Our machine shop has 29 machine tools, from 3D CNC machining centers to Bridgeports. The machine shop produces around 1,500 parts every week. A machine builder uses skills developed in mechanical, pneumatic, hydraulic, and electrical systems to create a full machine out of a pile of components. In Koops Holland, we have about 50 machines of many different varieties being built by our machine build group at any one time. An electrician at Koops uses schematics and a wide range of components to physically form the control system for our automation. Electricians need to be able to interpret prints, execute safe electrical build standards, and be able to effectively troubleshoot a variety of problems that will be encountered. A controls engineer designs, programs, integrates, and debugs the control system for the automation. This is the brains of the machine, and the controls engineer needs to ensure that the machine thinks properly. Thank you for watching this video about our team here at Koops. If you want to learn more, please go to our website at koops.com.
Right. Yeah. Thanks for the video, for showing that. So yeah, I'm Eric, and I'm excited to talk to you today. And the topic that we're going to review is why company culture matters. And it's a topic that I'm super passionate about. And part of it is because the culture that we have at Koops has had a huge impact on me personally and professionally. So I think real quick, I want to just say that company culture is the who and the how we go about things. And I believe the who and the how is more important than what we actually do. So we're going to unpack that a little more as we go. So now I'm going to take a moment and just introduce myself a little bit, give a little background on who I am and how I got here, because it's hard to talk about this topic and without it being personal, because it's a very personal topic for me. So I grew up in West Michigan on a dairy farm, milking cows, doing field work, fixing equipment, breaking the equipment, fixing it again. So I did that, and it was a great way to grow up, learned a ton. It's hard on the social life, but that's okay. I didn't need that. Then I went on to earn a mechanical engineering degree at university. And after that, worked for about 3 years for a tier 1 automotive supplier in Holland as a manufacturing engineer. So essentially, I worked with the equipment and processes that are used in production, and we were producing automotive interiors at that time. While I was there, I really struggled with my contentment and purpose. And part of it, and some of this I can figure out in hindsight, part of it was due to what I was doing. Part of it, though, was due to the corporate culture at the company I was working at. And then also part of it had to do with my own heart. So then, after 3 years, and so it's 19 years ago, for 19 years prior to today, Koops gave me an opportunity to join them as a project manager. So now the what part of what I was doing got really cool. I was working with designing and building and debugging automation. I was able to help out customers. I was able to be productive. Awesome experience being able to do some really cool stuff. Then also the who and the how. So I mentioned that earlier, right? The who and the how of my occupation was also a huge step up. The mission and purpose and core values that Koops had, I found that I could really align with. And then finally, my heart changed. I found that I could be involved in manufacturing, which is cool and fun to do, but yet also have it aligned with my own life's purpose. Then about 8 years ago at Koops, I was able to join the leadership of the company. And since then, I've led a variety of elements within the company, and it's been a blast. I've had fun. I'm fulfilled. I feel like I'm making a difference. Sometimes not always a good difference, but I try to make a good difference. And then along the way, I've learned even more about the value and importance of a great company culture. And for me, a big piece of that company culture is how a team acts when things go difficult. And so like right now, for example, we're all going through a difficult time of COVID, right? And it's a great example. And for me, it just reinforces how our team has responded and acted throughout this whole experience, has just reinforced my admiration and appreciation for the culture we have. And because something like COVID can bring out all kinds of different emotions and fears, strong opinions, and all that. But along the way, the team has been able to keep their focus on two things, the health of our team and our community, which involves more than just not getting the virus. It also means keeping people paid, employed, not having to lay people off and all that stuff. but then also being able to carry out our mission yet. And our mission is to serve our customers with the best automation systems. But we still need to do that, even though times are tough. And so it was just been a really neat experience to see how the team stays focused on those things, even in difficult times. So today, I lead the strategic growth portion of the company. And so what that means is me and the team I work with, we're focused on people growth, advanced product development, and enterprise progression. And a huge, and what that all builds towards is growth. And growth is a massive part of the Koops culture. And for me, I personally just love that I get to focus on that part of it. Now, all right, so that was kind of background on me with a little extra stuff built in there. Now I want to talk a minute about what company culture is. And remember, we still haven't even asked the original question of why does it even matter? Well, we'll get to that. So everyone has their own definition of company culture. And I believe that's because they're looking through the lens of their own priorities and what their current situation is and their current difficulties and things that work great for them. But if we really try to peel it back and look at it from a distance, company culture can be defined as the who and the how we do business, like we talked about at the top. It's the who and the how as opposed to the what. The what would be like doing electrical work or mechanical engineering or project management. That's what we do. The who would be, hey, the personalities and character traits of the team members. What is the team like that I'm a part of? And then the how would be things like integrity and excellence. You know, hey, are we doing what's right even when it hurts? That kind of thing. So I'd like to kind of go through a few examples of what company culture, things that symbolize or stand for company culture. And obviously you're going to get a little bias in this. So company culture is things like teamwork and collaboration with a humble spirit versus a group of individuals looking out for themselves. So that's a defining point in company culture. You can also ask things like, hey, is integrity a priority and you work on it all the time? Or is it just what you do to be the employer uses when it's handy for them? Is there a focus on solving problems or on avoiding blame, right? Are the people nice or are they jerks? What's the ownership structure look like? Is it publicly traded? Is it employee owned? What's that like? Now let's get to why it actually matters. So if all you want to do is earn cash today, then it doesn't matter. Find a job that pays the most. When you find another job that pays more, move to that one. Work on your own personal advancement to maximize your earning potential. Okay? But I believe there are two main reasons for why it does matter. One, I believe there's a higher calling to your job than just putting in time and making money. It's your occupation. It's a part of who you are. And you can impact your community and our world with a job in manufacturing, whether it's doing automation, manufacturing medication, or deep draw metal components. Okay? So part of that then is you need to determine what your life's purpose is, and then you need to find a company where their purpose aligns with your purpose. So that's one reason, is I believe there's a higher calling to our occupation or to our job, okay? Secondly, and this is kind of selfish, is it's more enjoyable and fulfilling. When you have an alignment in values, your values or the company values, you're gonna find fulfillment. Little things aren't gonna bother you, right? It's gonna be, it's gonna be a lot more fulfilling. And a little secret, you probably are going to get better advancement in the long run than when you're just looking out for number one. Also, if you align with a company culture, work is going to be more fun, right? So think about it. I don't want to work with jerks. It's hard to have fun when I work with jerks. I also don't want to work with slackers. I want to go hard at it and it's fun to be challenged and pursue things hard. I also believe that you're going to do better in your trade. If you're not looking over your shoulder, you don't have to get defensive. And if you're working with coworkers that are going to push you and help make you better, and along the way, you're going to make friends and be able to work with your friends. So in conclusion, remember that culture is the who and the how, okay? Who and the how we do business. Also figure out your own personal life purpose and align yourself with a company where it complements that purpose. Okay. Culture has a massive impact on your career experience. And I promise you that your career is more important than just squeezing out the last dollar. So finally, too, I'm really passionate about Koops' culture. Hopefully you get a taste of that a little bit. And I welcome you to check out our website. You can learn more about our culture there and what we do in the industries we work in.
Thank you, Eric. I appreciate it. You can tell everybody's really passionate about what they do, and we've got a lot of questions, so I want to have some time to make sure we go through this, and Jerry and I are going to tag team this. So the first one I'm going to go to is, we got a question about how the pandemic affected Perrigo, and especially in your production. So who wants to take that one?
I think I'm probably best suited, Carol. Thank you. It was obviously a really big shock to folks, right? There was no playbook created for this, and I know a lot of folks out there definitely struggled. The first month or two, I created a global COVID call where we had all of the key individuals wrapped up and engaged to try to make sure that we were making changes that would obviously appropriately affect the safety of our employees, and that was first and foremost. We created triage stations and screening centers and worked with our HR folks to understand the rules of contact tracing. We partnered well with the Allegan the County Department of Health system to make sure not only that we understood the definitions and the rules appropriately, but they did as well, because we do have global resources across the country that in the globe that dealt with this challenge at different times throughout that kind of a period, right? And so we were actually able to rely on the resources that were maybe a month ahead of the game, I'll say. And through that, we created all those various things to try to make sure that our folks were made safe. Social distancing is something that we took very seriously. A good chunk of our folks that don't need to be in the facilities are not in the facilities currently. And the folks that are here are required to social distance. We provide masks. One of the cool things we spent, I think it was roughly 29 days from start to finish to create a hand sanitizer formula. So we went from thinking we should be making this to it was actually ready to ship 29 days later. We provided that not only to our employees, but to the local health departments. Allegan County or Allegan General Hospital was a big recipient of a lot of that. So not only do we help our teams, but we help the community as well. We provide face masks at the door for everyone. You're not required to have your own. Obviously, we want to make sure they're all readily available. And in that video, I think you had an opportunity to see some of the various activities that require PPE or personal protective equipment. Obviously, we were a big player and a big consumer of personal protective equipment because of the types of roles we have. So we had a very big in with a lot of those suppliers to be able to procure the necessary equipment and gloves and things of that nature that will make sure that our folks are obviously taken very well care of. So it did slow us down. There was not a playbook. And our leadership and our teams, worked hard to get things put in place very quickly to take care of our colleagues.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
And the next question is for you. One of our students is asking for a little bit more detail. As you were telling your personal story and the career ladder that you went through, you mentioned a co-op program. Can you elaborate on that co-op program a little bit more and tell us about it?
Sure. Thanks for the question. So the co-op program was something that I worked with through the Career Line Tech Center. So they have a work placement individual there. Mr. Daling would take care of that right now. And what that is instead of going to the tech center every day, all day, whether it's afternoon or morning, 3 of them days you would go to the tech center, get your instruction that you would need. The other 2 days, they would pair you up with a company. Instead of going to the tech center, you go to work for that company and can actually make money in that field.
Thank you, Shane. Hey, another quick follow-up question. Jesse wants to know how many servo drive presses you have in your Holland location.
We have 3, actually 4 brand new ones in our Holland facility.
All right, next, somebody wants to know, what does it mean to be employee owned?
Yeah, I'm guessing that's probably for me. So I could talk for an hour on it, but Carol's not going to let me. So I'm going to keep it really, really short. Try to, but employee owned is where every employee that's in the company, once they've worked a year, automatically get allocated shares in the ownership of the company. So our company being 100% employee owned means there is no other investor involved, no private equity firm, anything like that. It's all us employees. And so we all are getting ownership more stake in it every year. And then as the company increases in value, our assets increase in value, you might say, and then it's meant for when we retire, that gets converted into cash, and now we got more retirement money to work with. So that's just the financial aspect. It brings a lot of benefits, though, with a long-term strategy. And me as an owner in the company, I want a cool place to work at, so I can help place priority on that, so you get to do a lot of other neat things because of it. So that's it in a nutshell. But again, we could talk a long time about it.
Okay, thanks, Eric.
Eric, this question is also for you. Richard would like to know, what department does strategic growth and company culture fall under, or is it something that's specifically under a department?
Yeah, that's a good question. So company culture, it does not fall underneath a department. That's everybody in the whole company is involved in that. And then it starts from when we interview people and try and figure out who we want to have on our team, and if they want to join our team, all the way through their whole career at Koops. Everybody is responsible for that. The strategic growth part of it, that is, I lead that, and that's kind of, we're our own department. So it doesn't fall underneath. I report to the president, and so we're kind of our own thing. But we're just kind of like heading it up. A lot of other people in the company are also involved in growth. So we're just kind of like the mouthpiece and the leaders for it, you might say. But everybody gets involved in it.
Okay, I have a question for everybody. We have one question. Do you hire interns? So I'll start with Perrigo and then go around with everybody.
Yeah, this is Jason for Perrigo, and we absolutely hire interns. So we have interns in the engineering departments. We have interns that are right out of high school that help Nick on the production floor. We also have engineers in the interns in the accounting department, all over. So we put a lot of effort into that every year.
Okay, go ahead, Kevin.
Sorry, to piggyback on that, last summer we did have some interns from a Votech center here in Allegan that ended up partnering with the packaging people and the maintenance department. And we actually ended up hiring at least one of those people at the end of the summer. Again, you have to meet the criteria to be able to, certain age limits and that kind of stuff to be on the facility, but it was a great opportunity for us to partner with local people to be able to get students in here and get that pipeline started.
And where would they find information on those internships?
If they just reach out and go to Perrigo.com, there's a variety of different careers and that kind of stuff that it says it right in there, and you can contact the talent acquisition team through there, and they will point you in the right direction.
Okay, thank you. Tricia, I'll have you take that question too.
Sure. At Trans-Matic, we have engineering interns that we hire through the Grand Valley State University program. We also have production interns that might come as soon as they graduate from high school, similar to Perrigo, and work on our production floor with Shane and learn the trade and, move on forward with their career through that.
Okay, thanks. How about Eric and Koops?
Yeah, so we absolutely do interns. We love doing interns. Our primary goal is eventually to hire you full time if it all works out well. And we'll do internships for engineering as well as the skilled trades. So if you're pursuing machining or machine building or electrical work, we can do internships for that. So the best thing to do there is also to go to our website, check it out, or you can always email us at recruiting@koops.com with any questions you have on it.
Okay, we're coming up to the hour, but I have one last question real quick. How do you guys have fun at work?
We make fun of each other, tease each other, so that's about the best way.
Anybody want to add that?
We just treat each other like family. I mean, it's a great atmosphere we have here. Everybody looks out for each other. And when you do something that's maybe not the greatest thing in the world, people are there to support you, but at the same point in time, they're going to look out for you and make sure you do better next time too.
And we have a lot of events that we have for our employees and family and spouses. So
Awesome. Thank you, everyone. You know, something I I love this environment of the manufacturing. Like, people are close to one another. This is a message we have been hearing over and over again. So I appreciate you taking the time today, letting us know, getting us into your corporate culture, telling us what you're doing. And students, thank you for joining us. I know we may not have gotten all of your questions, or you may have something else. So I'm going to be sending these panelists emails. So in case you have a particular question you want to ask them, you can do that. Following this webinar as well, there'll be a survey. If you're watching this as a class, then your teacher will have the survey, or you can contact us and we will get that for you, because we want to know how we did. And then finally, any seniors who are interested in going into manufacturing, we have 6 $500 scholarships that we are awarding. So we want to hear from you about that. Finally, all of these webinars will be recorded and uploaded to our Discover Manufacturing YouTube channel. So if you missed anything or want to hear it again, you will see this. It should be up and running by Friday afternoon, and you can watch any of the others. So panelists, thank you so much for your excitement. Thanks for wearing our hats today. We had a little fun with that. You know, go green. I know Jerry's going to be a little upset about that over there at the bottom. So
Christmas list. Go blue.
All right. Thank you, everyone. Go back to work. Have a great day. Thank you, students. Bye-bye.